All ye across the universe, from all those many worlds, come to this place right here and now, where a tale is about to be told. Though you may think you're too busy, or far too far away, yet a tale that shouldn't be missed will soon be told today. This tale is set on a tiny world, but its warning we all must heed. It tells about what can be lost due to laziness and greed. Iglings and Biglings are the folks that this tale's about. They did both good and nasty things that might just make you shout. But it's not about goodies and baddies. They were much like you and me. Yet when they stopped taking care of the world, they forgot why we all need trees. See, this world was once so luscious, and everybody cared. Nobody quarrelled for what was theirs, for everything was shared. Upon this world of plenty, the trees danced day and night, and the land sung wondrous music that brought everyone delight. Such marvellous splashing sounds filled the ears and hearts of all, as the rivers tumbled down in great turquoise waterfalls. The Iglings and Biglings worked hand in hand. They cared for all creatures and they cared for the land. The land was happy and gave freely to all, till the Biglings broke their code, the common sharing rule. It started with that great old tree, the one with all the yummy fruit. Some Biglings wanted to own it, and soon they all began to hoot. "That tree is ours! We saw it first! We need the best, you have the worst!" The Biglings' fight went on for days, and all the while their anger blazed. Alas, the fight got really bad. The Biglings had gone truly mad. They didn't want to share the fruit as they had before, so they cut down the ancient tree with a great big saw. "How could you cut our fruit tree? Now you'll pay the price." The Biglings, as you can see, were no longer nice, because their eyes were blinded by distrust and pure greed. They forgot the crucial difference between their want and need. There was no way of turning back. Things had got out of hand. Soon Biglings were arguing, and this spread through the land. The matter of who owned the trees ended with axes and fire. They cut and burned so many down and guarded the fruit with wire. With their friends the trees all gone, the rivers drained and dried. Creatures lost their homes and lives, and crops shriveled up and died. Still, these problems got worse and worse, for forests guard the land. That's why the soil all disappeared, leaving just rock and sand. Biglings had forgotten a truth that every Igling knows. The mountain forest did a job. They brought the rains and snows. Maybe they just didn't notice, or thought it couldn't go. But as these forests disappeared, so did the mountain snow. Soon rivers ran with naught but filth, and creatures cried for all they'd lost. Though Biglings were the ones to blame, the whole wide world was paying the cost. How quickly now that green world had changed, so dusty, dead and brown, save two lush trees upon a hill, which creatures wept around. Even Iglings were there on that hill, with nowhere else to go. Sleeping in holes while the fight raged on, they had been lying low. They'd ignored things up until that point, hoping they'd be resolved, but when their homes were all destroyed, they chose to get involved. So this was how they found their world, with only 2 old trees. And while they slept, they never dreamt such things could come to be. Then all at once, as from one voice, to the wise trees they cried, "What can we do to save the land? What if our whole world died?" And to this desperate question, the old trees quietly said, "Why do you come and ask us now, when the land is almost dead?" These quiet words boomed with truth they'd chosen to ignore. Yet now they saw all they had lost. They wished they'd come before. They looked out at their dying world, snowless mountains, slopes bare of trees, countless dried up riverbeds spiraling down to lifeless seas. And as they wept, their hearts joined in this most heartfelt prayer. If we could just have back our world, next time we would take care. The prayer they'd made as one was filled with genuine resolution. It made the wise trees realize there may be a solution. If Iglings could take care, maybe there was a way. They'd need to work with Biglings, but it could just save the day. And so the trees spoke thus: "All ye that sit beneath us, and feel the need to cry, unto the mountain slopes, dear friends, please turn your weeping eyes. The path that lies ahead of you is surely hard and steep. If you don't want to do this work, return to your deep sleep. But if you'll put in effort here and relearn how to share, then miracles are possible because we all take care. The forest on those slopes, my friends, must grow and thrive once more. So if you have the courage then, this is the task in store. The moment is upon us now, the Biglings soon will come. So stand united peacefully, reteach them right from wrong. Tell one and all they have one chance to right the wrongs they've done. One chance or our green wondrous world will be forever gone." Meanwhile, now you might imagine that when the damage had reached this stage, Biglings would have seen their mistakes and recovered from their rage. Alas, I'm sorry to tell you, this was not the case. The Biglings still continued on, despite their plain disgrace, surveying their dry desert world. Compared to the baking sun, they saw no link between this fate and all the things they'd done. Instead, they said to all the world, "The sun's the one to blame. It's getting hotter every day. Our world will turn to flames." This meant they had decided that there was naught to be done. 'Twas the fault of lazy Iglings and that great big angry sun. I'm afraid that's really what they said. "The reason crops are dead, those Iglings are skiving work. They've gone to sleep instead. And those 2 old self-righteous trees, enthroned upon that hill, their roots have drained the riverbeds. Their thirst is never filled." So now they knew what must be done. Those greedy trees must go. They would cut them down to their very roots to make the rivers flow. Oh, Biglings, were they quite so blind? They really couldn't see? Their greed had made so much go wrong. yet still they blamed the trees. The biglings marched towards the last 2 trees. Their saws were ready to do the deed. But the little iglings formed a circle of hands and called on the biglings to care for the land. Finally, the iglings spoke. "Wait, for we cannot let you past. This craziness must end. We need these trees to stay alive. They also are our friends. Please look at the world around you. The loss is plain to see. We have just one last chance to save it. This is our final plea. For how can we really believe our lives will carry on if we destroy the natural world that we all live upon?" Something in the young igling's words, full of inner sense so clear, made the biglings stop to listen and their anger disappear. At last the biglings were ashamed, but it all felt too late. How could they save their dying world? The mess seemed much too great. They were all frightened and confused. There was nowhere to run. They couldn't really turn back time or undo things they'd done. Again they started to squabble and fight. Some said, "Study the task at hand." Others shouted, "It's far too late for that. Let's start right away on the land." Some wanted to sleep, some wanted to weep, some wanted to run, some wanted to creep. Yet no matter which course their minds were pursuing, they couldn't deny that a job needed doing. So when the great old trees spoke out so wise and clear, those that were gathered round all hushed so they could hear. "Please listen carefully to us, just for a moment or two. The world we love is dying, and there is so much to do. Have greater courage, dear hearts. However hard things seem, we just need to make a plan and to work as a team. Yet with so many jobs that need to be done, our first decision is to choose the most important ones. Food, water, air, and shelter. These are the things we need. So let's protect these first things first and work with care and speed. There is a secret to success for you to understand. All nature is connected. That's the magic of the land. You see, for food, water is needed to make the food plants grow. And for water, trees are needed. We bring the rains and snows. Plants and trees make the oxygen that you all need to breathe. And forests give perfect shelter with our branches and our leaves. So can you see these connections and why you need us trees? We're essential for all your lives. We're not just luxuries. But oh, what a wasteland this world has come to be. 'Tis far too bare and difficult for fragile sapling trees. Yet on the ground below us lie some very special seeds. They have long been overlooked, just seeds of grasses and weeds. Still they can grow quite healthily where naught else can live. Oh, just you wait and see how much great help these seeds can give. These pioneer plants make rich new soil. Their roots will bind the land. They will do a better job by far than 1,000 busy hands. Just take these seeds and scatter them throughout the mountain ranges. They'll find pockets of soil and water and bring about great changes. So Iglings and Biglings took the seeds. They went in different ways. The whole job was enormous. One mountain took many days. And they soon realized in truth they needed to work together. For if they tried to work apart, the job would take forever. See, Biglings, so big and strong, moved fast upon flat land. Yet Iglings could climb sheer slopes with just bare feet and hands. One wise little Igling devised a plan that met so many of their needs. Making catapults from twigs and rubber, she shot balls made from mud and seeds. The mud was very special stuff, preserving and feeding the seeds. It came from the last sheltered place below the two wise trees. Soon balls of seeds were flying fast, flying in every direction. To see that it was working well, there was no need for inspection. The young weeds grew so wildly, all thick and strong and green. Soon the bare land below them was covered and couldn't be seen. A living bandage of green weeds spread across the damaged world. This ocean of new life was indeed a wonder to behold. Yet it didn't stay for very long as only grasses and weeds. Those weeds were the perfect nursery for bushes, flowers and trees. So it was the great forest grew tall and strong again, spreading down all the mountain slopes and healing the dry plains. It had taken so much time, teamwork, effort and determination. Despite the odds against them all, they'd achieved reforestation. And in the sky above the forest, where few thought they'd come again, bulging wet clouds grew so splendidly, all could feel the coming rain. It had been such a long, long time since the rain had fallen, and it seemed to be an answer to the forest calling. Those eager forests sighed and quivered. They pulsed with anticipation. The air rustled in all their branches and sang of celebration. So at last the moment was upon them, the moment they'd been waiting for. It started with a gentle patter and soon became a mighty roar. And had there not been all those plants whose roots held the soil and clay, the river pouring from the sky would have washed it all away. Instead, down with those sturdy roots, the water could now flow, finding its way to many seeds, all waiting there to grow. What a magical sight to behold, and such a thrilling sound. The message to never give up was echoed all around. It carried around the mountains, and even to outer space, that many things are possible, though they seem too great to face. While none of the Iglings or Biglings could have done the job alone, because each one had taken care, they had saved their world and their homes. Then the happy Iglings and Biglings went to the wise old trees. All felt their plan had been a success, and everyone was pleased. But when they got to the old trees, their message was grave and stern. Your mistakes will be made again if lessons are not learned. Then the wise trees spoke thus: All ye children of this little world, your work is not completed. There is still work to do so that your mistakes are not repeated. May you never again forget that upon forests we rely. They are not just decorations. Without them, our world will die. And fresh water is a greater treasure than all gems in the earth. Yet it is when it is taken away that we realize its worth. Your job is to keep it remembered. All this that you now know. Remind folks to protect the forests and help them to grow. So if you are willing to do this, to honor all that you've done, then 'tis high time to have a party, for the forests and rains have come. And so the festivities truly began. They lasted days, weeks, months, and years. It was a celebration of such distinction that fame of it has come to reach your ears. So I hope that this childish story has touched you in a childish place, for it is that childlike innocence that will guide the human race. This is not the end, it is just the beginning of what can happen when we take care. And speaking of taking care, here on our little world called Earth, we are facing similar problems to the ones that the Iglings and Biglings faced. Many people have forgotten how to take care and share, so the natural world is being destroyed. Yet ours can still be a happy story if we can work together to protect and care for the wonderful nature that supports our lives. So because we love nature and don't want to see it lost, my mother, Stella Joy, and I, Tara Joy, founded Active Remedy to help to safeguard the global water cycle through protecting and restoring the forests which keep this cycle working. You can find much more about this work by visiting our website www.activeremedy.org. See you there.